As the fight for Sudan rages on, more than 400 civilians have died and thousands injured.
Amid fears that Russia might encourage migrants to cross it, Poland beefs up its border with the exclave of Kaliningrad.
Smoke hovers over Khartoum as fighting continued in parts of Sudan's capital, which has been turned into the front lines in a conflict between the country's two warring generals, despite the extension of a ceasefire. Ordinary civilians are caught in the crossfires, with more than 411 people killed in the past 2 weeks. Another 2,023 have been injured, and that number is expected to rise. The roads to Sudan's borders are packed with people trying to flee the conflict. So far, around 50,000 people, mostly women and children, have fled into neighboring countries. International evacuations are still being carried out, including this group of Iranians who touched down in Saudi Arabia on Saturday.
Poland's Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki has said the fence along the border with the Russian exclave of Kaliningrad will be strengthened even more to keep migrants out. Poland fears Russia might encourage migrants, including refugees, to try to enter the European Union from its territory.
Na całym pasie przygranicznym będziemy budowali odpowiednie zabezpieczenia zarówno fizyczne, jak i elektroniczne. To jest tak zwana perymetria. Rozwijamy tę perymetrię. Będziemy również wzmacniali obecność Straży Granicznej, wszystkich służb. Ta obecność już jest wzmocniona, ale będziemy kontynuowali ten cały proces.
Fears were raised back in November after reports that Moscow's aviation authority had started to launch flights from the Middle East and North Africa to Kaliningrad. And there are worries that the war in Ukraine make the border more vulnerable to both spying and sabotage.
Hundreds of migrants are trapped between Chilean and Peruvian police as officials prevent them from passing into Peru. They're in a precarious situation without access to food, water, or shelter. Lima and Santiago have held talks to try to resolve the situation, but they were unable to find a solution.
De igual manera, hemos acordado el establecimiento de un mecanismo técnico a nivel de vicecancilleres en el que se tratará esta problemática que no es solo coyuntural, sino que es una problemática que abarca el nivel regional y, por lo tanto, vamos a incluir también en este diálogo a nuestras contrapartes de los otros países vecinos.
Many are trapped because they don't have the right papers to cross the border. But they say they just want to pass through Peru on their way to other destinations, just returning home to Venezuela or going on to the United States. And some are traveling with young and vulnerable children. More than 2,000 journalists, lawmakers, and celebrities gathered in Washington for its annual White House Correspondents' Dinner. And its main course, jokes about President Joe Biden's age.
Call me old.
One comedian mocked Biden for running for a second term in the White House, saying that while in France, people are rioting because they don't want to work until 64, in the U.S., they are begging to work until their mid-80s. The dinner is meant to celebrate press freedom and freedom of speech, and usually involves roasting the country's sitting president.
In his sermon at Sunday Mass in Budapest, Pope Francis hinted that Hungary should change its closed-doors approach to migrants and refugees. Francis was on his third and final day of his visit to Hungary, which is one of the EU's most anti-migrant states and has the closest relations with Russia.
È triste e fa male vedere porte chiuse. Le porte chiuse del nostro egoismo verso chi ci cammina accanto ogni giorno, le porte chiuse del nostro individualismo, le porte chiuse verso chi è straniero, diverso, migrante, povero.
During his visit, the Pope has thanked Hungarians for welcoming so many Ukrainian refugees. Even so, Prime Minister Viktor Orban's support for Ukraine is weaker than the rest of Europe, and that has annoyed many European leaders.